Do you know what one of the most painful forms of grief is? Grieving a mother who is still alive. I'm Nurse Adrienne, and when you follow me, you learn how to have the life you say you want. Mother's Day is complicated for a lot of people. Not everyone wakes up today feeling loved and grateful and safe or even celebrated. Some people are grieving mothers who are technically still here, and that kind of grief is hard as hell to explain to people who have never lived it. Because your mother's alive. You can call her, you can see her, maybe even spend holidays together, but somehow you still leave feeling unseen, unchosen, emotionally alone. Some of us spend our whole lives trying to earn the kind of love that should have been given freely, trying to become quieter, more successful, less emotional, more helpful, less needy, more accomplished, more forgiving, hoping maybe this version of ourselves would finally be enough to receive the softness, the safety, the protection, or emotional presence we needed as children. And one of the hardest parts of healing is realizing some mothers cannot give what they never evolved enough to hold themselves. That realization changes you because eventually you stop grieving the mother you had and you start grieving the mother you needed. Some people survived difficult or abusive mothers. Some survived emotionally absent mothers. Some survived mothers who loved you through criticism and guilt and control and silence and unpredictability or emotional inconsistency. Some mothers had to raise themselves emotionally while still children themselves. They became hyper-independent, hyper-aware, the caretaker, the fixer, the peacekeeper, the strong one, the one everyone leaned on, and nobody noticed they were fucking drowning themselves. A lot of women spend their whole lives mothering everyone except themselves, because caring for others hurt less than sitting with their own pain. And that pain follows people everywhere, into friendships, into dating, into parenting, into work, in the way they apologizing for having needs, in the way they accept breadcrumbs, because survival taught us to fucking confuse inconsistency with love. And sometimes it follows us right down to our own dinner tables, into the moments when we hear our mother's words flying out of our own mouths, the moments we react in ways we swore we never fucking would, and when we see behavior being acted out at our own dinner table, in the moments we recognize the same shutdown, the same defensiveness, the same anger, the same control, and the same avoidance. And it stops us cold. Because one of the most terrifying parts of healing is realizing you can carry the wounds someone you love and still unintentionally act them out. That awareness can feel devastating. But awareness is what interrupts the cycles. People do not evolve by pretending harm never happened. People evolve by becoming conscious enough to take accountability for what they carry, intentional enough to choose differently. Not perfectly, differently. And that fucking matters, because a lot of us were raised by people who never apologized, who never reflected, who never evolved emotionally beyond their own survival wounds. And if you're learning emotional regulation, if you're learning boundaries, if you're learning how to communicate instead of explode, if you're learning how to love without abandoning yourself, that matters, especially on days like today, Mother's Day. You can hold grief and resentment and gratitude and anger and compassion and all of them all at once. You can love your mother and still acknowledge all the ways you were hurt. You can have empathy for what shaped her and still refuse to normalize what damaged you. Both things, all things can exist together. And for the people grieving a mother who is still alive, your pain's fucking real. Sometimes the deepest grief is grieving what you never fully existed in the first place.